Welcome to the Rockabye Revenue Podcast with me, Abby Watson. I'm a mum of 4 and a business strategist, and I train people to become hypnobirthing teachers. In the last decade, I've built a thriving baby business that grew beyond my wildest dreams. This podcast is for you if you run a business or dream of running a business in the birth and baby industry. You want to change lives whilst making more money. I'm talking about creating sustainable income whilst being present for the people that matter most. I believe for our baby businesses to have the impact we desire, we must be rewarded. On this podcast, expect me to share actionable strategies without the jargon. I've been where you are. I've built a business while raising 4 little ones, and now I'm here to help you turn your passion into profit while creating the life you've always dreamed of. So let's get started. Hello, lovely one. Welcome back to the Rockabye Revenue Podcast. I don't know about you, but I am just like, I have blinked and this year is going. I cannot believe we are almost in September. For me, September feels a little bit like, the rundown to, dare I say it, Christmas. And we're already here, almost. Yeah, literally, I feel like I've just had Christmas. So for me, this year has gone so quickly, both personally and in my business as well. And I'm just sat here thinking, oh my gosh, I had so many intentions for this year in my business, and there's quite a lot that I haven't even made a start on. And here I am approaching September, feeling a little bit like it's the countdown to the end of the year. Well, I've had a word with myself, and I've reminded myself that going into September does not mean we are nearly at the end of the year. We've got 4 blooming months, 4 full months before we enter 2027. That is a lot of time. So if, like me, you too are thinking, oh my gosh, where has this year gone? What have I done? Have I done all the new stuff I intended to do? Worry not, we have got time. We have got plenty of time. However, we do want to go into the final quarter, the final third of this year with strong intentions and with a real strong start. And maybe it's like the former secondary school teacher in me, or maybe it's all the blooming years that I spent at school as a kid myself. September does always feel a bit like a fresh start. All those back to school vibes, back to normality, and whether or not we work in a school or whether or not we have kids in school, September does often bring those new vibes for so many of us. So please remember that. We often go into January full of like, new year, new me, I've got this goal, I'm doing this. Well, we've almost got our second chance, haven't we? And in a way, September feels like a stronger place than January. If you think about January, my goodness, many of us are depleted after the chaos of Christmas if we celebrate it. Maybe we're also very much in the kind of hibernation mode because we've got short days with very dark nights and houses full of bugs and illnesses. Whereas September, we're coming out of, a just maybe, a relaxing-ish time. Maybe we've been away on holiday, maybe we've rechecked in on things, we've got long days, light nights. It comes with all the feelings of energy and fresh starts. So I want to start my podcast today with that reminder that if, like me, you do feel like, oh my gosh, where has the year gone? It's not gone yet. It has not gone yet. And we have got the wonderful September coming up, which for so many of us is that lovely fresh start, that fresh energy. Now, I'm going to be talking about this in today's podcast because I know that Septembers can come with feeling like, oh my gosh, I need to enroll in a new business course. I need some marketing tips. I need to be learning a new skill, whatever it may be. And maybe you do. Or maybe, like me, you already know what you should be doing. There's already tons of ideas in your mind that you know would be a huge success, but you just haven't done it. So I've been thinking a lot about this lately because when I think of all the things that I know would be big moves in my business and have potentially huge impacts, I feel frustrated with myself and I'm like, why haven't I already done this? This has been like at the back of my to-do list for a very long time. So, for example, in my business, as you know, I run a training school, Love Your Birth. I train people to become hypnobirthing teachers. I support them in the business side once they've qualified, and we have a wonderful community. I know in my business that I get a lot of new enrollments through word of mouth. I know that people who have previously trained with me do send new students my way. And it's a blooming great way of building my business because I know these people come knowing already a lot about what I offer because they have spoken to their hypnobirthing teacher who has recommended them, or they've spoken to their friend, or whatever it may be. They come with great expectations, which is always a fabulous place to start. Now, whilst I do get a lot of referrals, I know that really works for my business. So forever and a day, I have intended to set up like an affiliate scheme, like a partnership scheme, allowing people that have trained with me to sign up to something that enables them to be able to ultimately sell my course but get a really generous percentage. So ultimately, I'm rewarding them for being so kind as to recommend my services. They're already doing this, but if they have this financial incentive, surely that's going to encourage them even more. And of course, really encourage that loyalty. It's an absolute no-brainer for my business. It's not going to take a massive amount of time to set up. I know that the platform that I use to host my courses, to run like my website and all that, has ability to run an affiliate scheme. But why has it sat at the bottom of my to-do list for so blooming long? Well, setting it up, it sounds a bit boring. If I'm brutally honest, it doesn't light a fire in my belly. It doesn't, faffing about with technology, writing like terms and conditions of this new scheme, deciding on the logistics of it feels a tad boring. And if I'm perfectly honest with myself, that is why I continue to put it off. That's why I continue to tell myself I don't have time to do that. When actually the reality is, currently, I'm finding the time every single blooming day to watch the Lindsay Clancy trial. If you know, you know. I'm managing to sit there on my phone watching this court case. And if you haven't looked at the Lindsay Clancy case, have a look. No doubt your algorithm will make you see it now that we've talked about it together. But it is like, I am gripped. It brings up so much about maternal mental health. But it also makes you think, like, oh, did she do it? Was there intention there? Anyway, this is not a true crime podcast you are listening to. So let's get back to what I was talking about. But yeah, I've got blooming time to do that. I've got time to, on some days, watch 3 hours worth of trial footage. But I haven't got time to create this partnership deal? Let me say, the real reason is it sounds a bit boring. It sounds a bit boring. So let me move over to you now. Do you already know what you should be doing in your business? You already know what could and is highly likely to have a huge impact on your business, yet you're not doing it. And at the same time, you're saying, oh gosh, I need to invest in that new membership that's going to teach me more about business. I need to get a coach, a mentor, because I need to know what my next steps are. When in reality, I'm guessing you probably already know what you could be doing, what you should be doing, what's going to have this massive impact. So take a moment now to be honest with yourself. What is it that you know you could be doing that would have a huge impact that you are currently avoiding? And take a moment to be honest with yourself. Why are you avoiding it? Why are you avoiding that thing? I can think of many examples of other things I too am avoiding in my business. One of them is absolutely being visible. I know that for not much extra time that I spend in my business, I could be more visible with more impact. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean showing me, the person behind the brand. And yeah, I've got this podcast. And yes, probably in some ways I feel like, oh, I'm doing it. I've got my podcast. I even record my podcast and, I make a few reels from it. Yeah. But I also know that if I showed up on social media and I did more of what's the current thing that people call it? Yap videos where you're just literally talking to camera. There's none of this, hi everyone, how's your day? You are going in with the juicy stuff. I know if I sit down and I recorded several of those, it wouldn't take me much more than an hour. Because the whole point of those videos is that they're very raw and unedited and very natural and very authentic. So we don't need to get messing about with all the editing and, blooming filtering them and, adding all sorts of jazzy stuff to them. They are fine as they are. I'm not doing it though. I know it would have a huge impact on my business. I'm not currently doing it. And I'm making excuses. What are my excuses for that one? Well, again, the time thing. But I'll go back to what I said earlier. I am making time for a random court case that I have got no involvement in. What other excuses do I make? Well, I don't know what to talk about. Come on, Abby. I could sit with a pen and paper and quickly decide a few things to talk about. And actually, done is far better than perfect. Just a quick interruption to let you know about something that I've got coming up for aspiring hypnobirthing teachers. Now, when I think about my years teaching hypnobirthing, oh my gosh, there are so many incredible moments. From getting that phone call saying, I did it, Abby, and literally it was like an hour after she'd given birth, to all the other benefits, like being able to be there for my kids when they needed me because I had this flexible job. Now, starting on the 21st of September, I am hosting my well-known 3-day free training. It is for you if you are curious about whether teaching hypnobirthing is for you. Over the course of 3 days, you will learn more about hypnobirthing, how to teach it, and how to build a successful business. And it'll help you decide whether this is the right path for you. Now, all you need to do to reserve your free space is head to the show notes where you will find the link to sign up. I really hope to see you there. But what's the real reason underneath all those things? Yes, I'm saying it's time. Yes, I'm saying I don't know what to talk about. What's the real reason? Am I a bit scared of being seen? Yeah? Am I a bit scared of someone having a conflicting opinion and cancelling me as a result? Yeah. In reality, is that really highly likely to happen? Probably not. Probably not. I'm probably not going to be cancelled for talking about why you might want to become a hypnobirthing teacher. Probably not. But that's what our minds do, don't they? Am I going to have some, crazy person come out of the woodwork and troll me? Probably not. And if I do, I can deal with it. I've had worse things happen than that. I can delete the comments. But again, these things are underneath why I'm not doing it. I know what I should be doing. I know it would have an impact. I know. But yet I'm not doing it. I'm using little excuses, but really underneath those little excuses, there's other excuses. There's other things that are keeping me stuck, keeping me scared, the fear of backlash, the fear of being overwhelmed with comments, looking like a bad person because I'm not having time to respond to the comments. When in reality, we don't know that that's going to happen, and it's probably not, So again, I'm asking you to think about, what do you know you could be doing and you are putting off? Because I tell you what, learning more stuff about what you could do could actually be procrastination. Doing another course in business, signing up to another membership, buying yet another business book could actually be procrastination. Because actually, when you spend all that time reading that book, are you actually implementing any of it? Or actually, is it just making you feel like you are making progress when actually you're avoiding the things that you know are going to be the needle movers? Maybe you are procrastinating on Canva, faffing about, fannying about with positioning of graphics, finding the best templates, when, let's face it, that's not going to be the thing that gets you your next booking. What is? Another thing I know that I've been avoiding is having a follow-up strategy. Well, I know a follow-up strategy. And it doesn't have to be hard. All it needs to be is that I make a note of people that have inquired about my services. I write down their name, where they've contacted me, and a very brief bit of info of the conversation that's happened. And that means if they don't proceed to book, I have got this list that I can then follow up with. And currently, I will put my hands up and admit that I am never doing that, even though I teach that, because I know that is a huge, huge needle mover in business. Those people that are already keen, they just need that little bit of extra nudging. I'm leaving them. I'm blooming doing them a huge disservice because they already know they want to become a hypnobirthing teacher. They're almost there with taking that step, to do the training that actually might change their whole life. But I'm not recording who they are so I can follow back up. I'm not, and I'm almost like hearing myself back and thinking, oh my gosh, you're gonna think I am some kind of fraud that teaches all these things and never does them myself. Well, here's the thing. Let's face it, many of us don't always practice what we preach. What's that phrase, that story, the cobbler's shoes? The cobbler, works day in, day out, sorting everybody else's shoes, yet they have the worst shoes themselves. Are you guilty of that from time to time too? Maybe as a hypnobirthing teacher, maybe talking about the importance of mindset, the importance of taking time for you. Do you do it? So please, before you think about what your next idea needs to be, think about the other things that are on your to-do list that have been there for a while and they come back to you. And they are the needle movers. They're not the faffing about with, graphics. They're not being consistent on social media. They're the things that are going to actually get you the bookings. What things do you know you should be doing and you are not currently doing? And with me, let's blooming do it. Let's do it. I mean, the reason I've put out today, about my affiliate scheme that I have been putting off for way over a year is so I have some form of accountability. If I've told you I'm putting that out, I am so much more likely to actually put it out there. You do it too. And I don't necessarily mean an affiliate scheme, but your thing that you've been putting off. Whether it's doing more videos of you talking to camera, maybe it's that you've been putting off connecting with other businesses in your community. You know that's going to impact your business, but you are avoiding it. Or maybe it's that you have been for forever and a day avoiding updating your website. You know the people that book your services tend to come via your website, yet you feel a little bit embarrassed of it. You know that your About Me section needs tweaking. You know that you could be talking about your services with more confidence, but it feels boring doing it, so you've been avoiding it. So decide what your thing that you know you should be doing, and you know it's going to be a needle mover, but you know you have been avoiding. What is it? Come over to my Instagram, loveyourbirth_training. Tell me the thing that you have been putting off, and let's agree that I'm going to do my thing and you're going to do your thing. We need to get it done, because whilst we might be saying that, oh my gosh, the year is like flashing before my eyes, like how are we nearly on September? We have got 4 juicy months to do some incredible things in our businesses. And these things that have been sat on your to-do list, like my blooming, partnership scheme, affiliate scheme, whatever I decide to call it, that's going to be a huge thing that I will be thanking myself I've set up in years to come. Not the faffing about on Canva, What is yours? Let me know. And whilst I talk about the fact that we are almost in September, like I said earlier, I definitely feel like September is that kind of next new year. I mean, I think it's better than the new year, to be honest. I get all the kind of, back to work, back to school, back to business feelings. And because of that, what I'm actually going to be doing on this very podcast is in September, I'm going to be doing a series. So there's going to be an episode every week starting on the 1st of September. And it's going to be called Back in Business. And every episode is going to be one thing you can do that week to get back into your business, making impact, making waves, getting bookings. Every single week, you will be reminded of all the things you know make a difference, and you are going to leave with some action to take. So if you feel like you have taken a nice slow summer, perhaps with your children, perhaps doing things you love, and you've been a little out of your business, well, Back in Business will be exactly what you need. You can tune into it just like you do every week with this podcast. An episode every week helping you get back focused, really embracing those September vibes. We'll be starting on the 1st. There will be 4 episodes every week, and we're going to take action together. Now, if you know that you have a friend in this industry, working in the birth or baby industry, maybe they're a baby massage teacher, maybe they teach pregnancy yoga, maybe they're even a newborn photographer, do share the Rockabye Revenue podcast with them, because no doubt they too could do with this fresh start and this little nudge to get those things done. Now, this is going to be totally suitable for you, whether you are completely new to business, or if, like me, you are an old timer and you absolutely need that little reminder of the things that get things going. So I really hope to see you next week listening in to the podcast, where I'm going to be starting back in business, giving you that burst of motivation, an actionable plan, and getting you going, getting September started with incredible bookings from those people that really, really need your services. So I shall see you then. I cannot wait. I don't know about you. I enjoy the rest of August, and I'll see you next week for Back in Business. See you then, and as always, keep on changing lives. Bye. Thank you for listening to Rockabye Revenue. I hope this episode has left you with some fresh ideas and bundles of motivation. If you enjoyed this episode, do make sure you click subscribe so you never miss an installment. And if you found this episode useful, I'd love you forever if you leave a 5-star review, helping this podcast reach the ears of more of the helpers in this world. And remember, keep changing lives. See you next time.